I've not been counting, but I know there's been more tears than laughter in the last few years, and after pausing for reflection, I think we can agree that by far the largest part of all that heartache's down to me, and that tendency to see and yet not see at the same time how extraordinarily fortunate I've been throughout my life. But instead I do perseverate on negative events, interpret every moment as just further evidence of the ways in which I've failed to achieve, and even worse, the ways in which this world has failed me. I've not been listening, but I know that even in the kindest words I've heard implicit criticism. I've found reasons to be hurt, and I have bristled at imaginary slights in well-meant lines. It is that tendency to hear and yet not hear at the same time how extraordinarily fortunate I've been throughout my life. And I've responded. Not how I would have hoped I would respond. I have withdrawn and fallen silent, and I have pondered long about the ways in which I've failed to achieve, and even worse, the ways in which this world has failed me. I've not been drinking much these days, because the drunk that I become is not the kind of drunken man I wish on anyone. Gone is that funny, floppy fella who's just glad to be alive. Gone is that happy-go-lucky younger brother kind of vibe, replaced by something darker, replaced by something that's much harder to look back and laugh at in the morning. A drunk who's quick to anger and can ramble on at length about the ways in which he failed to achieve, and even worse, the ways in which this world has made him mean. I've not been checking on my privilege enough. I have lived a life that billions of souls could only dream of, free from war in my small corner, free from any kind of torture. I found shelter almost every single night since I was born. And the family that made me, and the family I made, and almost every member of my clan can say the same. We've been extraordinarily fortunate in every single way. We have received an education. We are free to voice opinions. I've had friends and I've had lovers, and I've not witnessed their starvation. In fact, I've eaten every day. I've worked and I've been paid, and yet there's still a part of me that wishes to complain about the ways in which I've failed to achieve, and even worse, the ways in which this world has failed me. Now, I'm not boasting when I talk of my extraordinary fortune, because there's nothing here that really could not be a global normal. And I want nothing for myself that's not for everybody else if they desire. And I apologise for every time I let my own entitlement catch fire and you got burned. It is that tendency to learn and yet not learn. That achievement's just a myth, and there can be no ways in which this world has let me down while you're still in it.